Hi, this is Ruth, Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're going for a ride and a chat. You ready? So today, we're going to be talking about kind of like those coincidences that happen, and we're not always sure like why they happen, but I guarantee you it's a very important reason that they do happen, because they're really kind of one of those special things. So today, my husband and I were both working late, and then I was kind of like, you know what, I just don't feel like cooking dinner. Just do not feel like cooking dinner at all. So I was like, let's go out to our favorite place and let's go eat. And he's like, I'm not feeling well, you go eat and I'll stay at home, bring me some soup home. And I was like, okay, got it. So run to my favorite restaurant, eat dinner, no problem. I had to wait. The soup that he wanted had to be freshly made. They made it fresh because they love him and they think he's really nice. And so they made a fresh batch for him, and I'm like, yay! So he gets fresh soup. And so I went and dropped it off at home because I had some other errands to do. And so I went and dropped it off at home, ran in, handed it to him, here's your soup, and talked to him for just a second, then ran back out to do some errands, which I'm just finishing up now. And when I was leaving, at the end of my street, I ran into a neighbor that I haven't talked to in a long time, and there's some things that have happened. She's a new auntie, and so we're kind of just chit-chatting for a little bit, and then my angels and guides start telling me she's having medical stuff. And so I kind of just, are you feeling okay? What's different or new? Or da-da-da-da. And it turned out that my angels and guides and her angels and guides were kind of like conspiring behind us, because she really required a lot of information that I had, like knowledge that I've gained over the years. And I said, oh, try this, and she was doing this, and I was like, okay, don't do it that way, you need to do it this way. And that was kind of like the fun, cool part, is that our angels and guides are always doing that for us. They are constantly conspiring to get you connected to someone else. I see that this neighbor lives like 2 houses away from me, and I see her from time to time, but not that often. And this time she was walking, so I just kind of like stopped and said, hey, how's it going? Chatted up for just a second, and then they started talking to me. And that's the cool part. So many times we don't always realize like what the connections are or why they're this way, but they're that way for a reason. That's the cool part. Totally cool. So when you kind of get that little voice talking in your head of like, hey, why don't you do this? Or hey, why don't you try this? Listen, that is your intuition talking to you, usually your angels and guides, telling you exactly what you should be doing, or exactly how you should be talking to someone, or bring up this subject, because they were like, talk to her about her health, because, you know, she looks great, healthy, none of that. But I was like, what's wrong with your health? I just feel like there's something. And she was like, oh my gosh, you'll never guess. Da, 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 da. That's what I'm talking about. That is the kind of cool stuff that happens when you listen to your angels and guides. Now, granted, it's kind of cool that she got to hear what I had to say. I was able to get her some information about some different over-the-counter stuff, holistic stuff that she could try that should be helping her way better than the doctor stuff that she's been prescribed, because she's like, this is not working, totally hate it, it's making me feel all wonky and winky and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, I understand. So that was kind of the really cool part, is that she was ready to hear all of this, she was ready to get that information, and I was right there to be able to hand it to her. That is so cool. So next time your angels and guides tell you, or you get that kind of intuition, like you need to talk to this person about something, or you need to say something, make sure that you do, because you never know how it's going to help you and how it's going to help them in some really cool, interesting way. It's always the fun part of life. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.